All right, today we're going to do a massive comparison overview of a bunch of different Refuge medical first aid kits. For those who don't know, Refuge Medical, it's a company out of Oklahoma, like full of just genuinely good, helpful people. This is not sponsored or partnered in any way. This is just stuff that I've accumulated for myself, that I found useful, just in all the various works that I do. And I thought it'd be useful because when I'm trying to buy something, I always like to see videos and reviews made by people other than the company. They have a ton of detailed videos on their channel and on their website, Refuge Medical, just kind of overviewing their stuff. But I've personally used basically all this stuff except for the Field Medic, which is my most recent acquisition. Basically carried some of this stuff every single day for years and just love it, and thought it'd be useful to share with all of you because, again, when I'm looking for something, I like to over research and really look at the comparisons between the different things, because at the end of the day, right, like medical stuff, you need a tourniquet, compression bandage, wound packing gauze. Like the ingredients are pretty standard, but how you package them and how you carry them in various different pouches and pockets, different like that, that's what really differentiates one product from another. And so I thought it'd be useful to compare basically my favorite ways of carrying medical stuff so that it gives you a little bit of an idea of what the options are. So first I'm going to do a big overview, and then we're going to go a little bit more in depth with each product. This is not the video where we're literally taking out every single individual item in each kit. That would take 3 hours, and frankly, Refuge has like plenty of awesome videos that do that on their channel. They also have full content lists on their site, so you don't need me to do that. This again is just comparing one versus the other in terms of how you would carry them. So just again, as an overview, this is called the FAK. This is kind of their flagship product. This is in multicam black, super cool kit. I've carried this on the outside of my backpack quite a bit. I swapped it recently with this. This is the SOB, not that SOB, but it stands for small of the back kit, because it's meant for for you to put on your war belt on the small of your back. I like it because it's very slim, and that way I can put it on the side of this pack, which is my everyday carry Mystery Ranch bag, and it's just very unobtrusive, and it has all the trauma stuff that you need. To the right here, that's the Field Medic, and then moving down here, this is the Slick kit. Super cool, like compact kit that you can carry in a cargo pocket. Very slim. This has all the stuff that you need minus a tourniquet, right? So I would carry this plus a tourniquet. This is the ankle kit. This is the belt kit. Here, all the way over this way, is the FAK. Up here, we have the old version, the discontinued version of the adventure kit. This one is the production, like this is what you would get if you were to order the adventure kit right now. This is the updated version of the adventure kit. And then over here, this is a bag. It's an SOE bag, but attached to the SOE bag is this pouch, which is basically the same thing as this pouch, but inside, which again, we're going to go inside of this one here in a few minutes, but inside, instead of having the normal innard, I have this vacuum sealed BPK, bleeding prevention kit. And so that's sort of the overview of all of these different things. We're going to go a little bit more in depth now, comparing the different ways that you can carry stuff. And here we go. So we're going to go over some of the smaller ones that they have, from the ankle to the Slick, and then we'll move on to the rest. And so let's start with the ones that I probably carry the most. First being the Slick kit. So this is just a vacuum sealed kit. It has everything for bleeding prevention minus a tourniquet, right? So it's thin. I've carried this so often, either in a back pocket or a cargo pocket. Duct tape, compression bandage, wound packing gauze, stuff like that. It's everything you need, again, minus a tourniquet. So you have this in your back pocket or your cargo pocket, and then you have a separate tourniquet staged in another pocket. And again, just a really low profile, slim way for you to be able to carry medical gear. Again, another purpose of this comparison too, so that you can get an idea of the sizes for all of these in comparison to each other, right? So Slick kit. Next up, I'd say the one I carry the second most frequently, this is the ankle kit. So it's really comfortable. Like I was very dubious about carrying stuff on my ankle, but you know, if you're in jeans, like you don't have as many pockets, right? And so this Velcro is open, and as you can tell, like I'm gonna pull on this, it's like really stretchy. So it's like, honestly, I'm telling you, you Velcro this, it doesn't even have to be over a sock. It could just be over your bare ankle. You completely forget that you have it on. And again, it's just, you know, little Velcro keepers that hold in marker, wound packing gauze, tourniquet, duct tape, chest seals, stuff like that. So this is, I'd say, you know, between the slit kit and the ankle kit, those two are probably the ones that have seen the most use. This belt kit is a recent acquisition. The little addition I did for this was I found that it sort of hung a little bit far from the body with regards to these, you know, little belt straps, snaps. And so what I did was I just put a line of stitching inside of the belt keepers just to kind of tighten up a little bit. And this is super tight. If you want something belt line, this is the way to go. Again, I don't carry this too often because I try not to have too much stuff around my belt line. But this is a solid one. And again, wound packing gauze, gloves, whatnot in this pocket, tourniquet, chest seals in the top one. Put that to the side. Now this is, I'd say, their flagship product. It's called the FAK. It's in multicam black, but they have it in other colors as well. There's two little lines of webbing, one on each, two lines on each side. That way you can bungee, tourniquet, or shears or whatever you want on the outside. On the back, it has this PALS situation with the clips on the bottom, so you can mount this on Molly. I carried this for a while on the side of my backpack. It was a little too big to have on the side of the bag, especially like living in New York City, right? Like you're kind of winding your way through tight restaurant aisles and everyone lives on top of each other. So I didn't want this much stuff on the side of my bag. So basically what I did, which I'll show you here in a few minutes, is I have a smaller kit mounted on the outside for the trauma stuff. And then for, you know, the less critical things, I have separately inside of the bag. But basically the way this pouch works is that you lift this top section open and it exposes this, right? And you can do that with one hand, assuming it's like mounted somewhere. And basically you take this little pull tab and you pull and it comes loose. This thing opens, swings down, and there's all your med stuff. Now the one little change that I made back when I was carrying it was I actually put this 6-inch bandage on this top loop, and I carried a second tourniquet on the inside. But basically, same thing. All your, like, you know, super, oh my God, blood's coming out kind of thing on the top area, all organized, which is super cool, right? It's not just like a big open bucket with just all this stuff just dumped in. Like, it's very well organized. And in the bottom here, in the sun mesh, you have a trauma pack with, you know, bandages and quick clot and all that stuff. So this folds up. Next thing we got, let's talk about this. This is an SOE bag, but mounted on the SOE bag, as you can see, is a sort of the outer pouch, the same one as this one is, right? It's a FAK pouch. But on the inside, I have a vacuum sealed kit, which is one of their BPKs, which is a bleeding prevention kit, which is basically, it's the same thing as this slit kit, except it includes it includes a tourniquet and it includes an extra set of compressed gauze, I believe, right? Like, obviously check the website, but it's basically a slit kit plus a tourniquet plus a little more gauze. And so this is cool because if you want everything in one package, you want to deal with like a separate tourniquet with a separate, you know, slit kit, you can get this. Now this is, if you compare, it is thicker, so you couldn't necessarily put this in your back pocket. If you don't mind like really billowy cargo pockets, you can technically put this in a cargo pocket, but it also just works great on the outside of bags. Just like shove it in a water bottle pouch, shove it in, you know, anything like that, and you're good to go. Shove it back in. There we go. And again, like super good just to keep on the outside of bags and stuff. And then finally, we have the FAK. So now this FAK is meant to, you know, you mount it on Molly, you can mount it on the back of a belt, you can mount it on the side of a bag, whatever. technically you would have a tourniquet in this top sort of stretchy slot, and you could have a second one on this bottom stretchy slot. I have not run this lately, which is why there's no tourniquets on the outside, but typically that is where you would run it. And then you grab one of these two handles and you basically pull, which means you can pull it from either direction, right? So it's cool if you have this mounted behind you, you can grab it from either side. You pull, this comes loose, Velcro open, and there's all your med stuff, right? Shears, bandages, compression. Inside of here, you got your chest seals and gauze pad and whatnot. So super cool. As you'll notice, I mean, obviously, med stuff, the gear itself is pretty simple, right? You need gauze, you need shears, you need tourniquets. Like the ingredients are pretty consistent, but how you package those ingredients and how you carry them, that's what makes the difference. And I think that's what's really cool about all these products, is that you're able to carry in different ways based on what your day holds. All right, next up we have the two adventure kits or adventure bags. As I mentioned, this one on the left, this one is technically discontinued, but I'll show it to you anyway, just in case you come across it on eBay or whatever. Like you just want like, I don't know, an overview. Molly on the face. It has these like sewn in Molly strips with snap closures at the bottom. Like if you want to, I guess, mount this onto something. I never really did that. The interior tends to be pretty similar to the updated adventure kit. Has all your med stuff inside. Actually, I'll show you the inside on the other one, because this one I just kind of threw threw a bunch of my own personal stuff in there. But the bag is quite similar. And on the bottom, it also has Molly's webbing on the bottom. So if you want to like lash stuff to the bottom, you also can. And then on this back thing, it does not have a pocket on the back here, right? Which for the new one it does. So just to show a little comparison, if we flip over to this updated one, so if you order this, today, as of filming this video, this is the bag that you're going to get. It does not have the Molly on the back. Instead, it has this little Velcro closured pocket, and this is what I tucked the shoulder strap into, just for when I'm not using it. You can also, obviously you can put whatever you want back here, but for now, I just shoved the shoulder strap so it's not flapping around when I don't need it. Underneath it, you also have the Molly webbing sewn on the bottom, and on the face of it, you have Molly so that you can attach, bungee, some tourniquets, whatever you want on the front of it. And then inside, zip this guy open, is all your medical supplies. It's basically your trauma stuff, your Marchi algorithm, plus some stuff for fractures and things. It has, some splints, right? It has your SAM splint and whatnot. Basically, again, if we're just comparing the containers for the medical supplies, it has in the front here, let me zip it down all the way. In the front here, it has this pouch pocket thing where you can divide up your items, right? So first pouch in there has like eye drops and bandages and OTC meds and wound packing gauze and all these different things. So that's one pouch. Then you have the main compartment, which is like a bucket, and it has all your stuff, all your gear, organized in different little baggies and things, so it's easy to find stuff. And then in the back here, let me flip this guy. You have these two vertical organized pockets, right? And these two vertical organized pockets has your other items that you can kind of organize as you want. It comes super well organized, but for whatever reason, if you want to reorganize stuff, it has the internal organization for you to be able to do that. So these two are the adventure kits. All right, next up we have, this is my Mystery Ranch bag, but on the side of it, we have this little guy, and this is the SOB, which in this case stands for Small of the Back Kit. And basically this, right, and Molly's on to the side of, obviously Molly, so outside the bag, you pull this tab. Actually, before you do that, on the bottom it has these two little Molly strap things, and you can bungee a tourniquet on the outside of your pouch if you want to. I prefer to pack mine on the inside, so that's why there's none on the outside, but if you want to, you obviously can. A lot of people run this on belts. Basically, you pull this guy lifts open. On the top here, you have a little handle, you pull that, the guy comes popping out. Obviously it comes out a lot better if you're not behind the camera. You move that to the side, and in here, this guy lifts open, and you have your gloves sort of in that loop, and then you have all your medical stuff. The only difference that I made to this is that I also shoved the tourniquet in there. But you have your chest seals, wound packing gauze, flat duct tape, MPA, all that stuff. And the last thing we have is this guy, because I do not have a stomp bag, right, which is their like biggest kit. So this is the second biggest. It's called the Field Medic. It's basically a hospital on your back, and we're going to go through again. We're not going to literally talk about every single bandage, but I'll show you all the compartments. So first, on the outside of the pack, it came with a set of shears on this side, sort of woven through the nylon, held in with this thing. I didn't want a pair of shears on the outside, so I actually stashed them inside of this top compartment, which I'll show you in a second. But typically, if you were to get this, it has a set of shears on the outside. On this side, tourniquet bungeed. On here, you have two like bottle mesh pockets, one on either side. And then you have this pocket, which basically it sort of like stretches forward, so you can stash things back here, which is super cool. Ooh, what do we got here? Oh, it's the side compression thing. I'm like, oh, did I find something? Okay, so here you have a little like pocket that goes pretty deep. You can stash anything that's basically flat back here that you want just very quick access to. In this front compartment, it zippers wide open, splays open, and you have some medical stuff that you need, you know, very quick access to. Obviously, like Molly, kind of all over the place. Molly on this bottom panel, it's like this laser cut Molly situation. And then you also have Molly again on the sides. Here you have hook and loop, you have Velcro so you can attach your patches. All their kits, by the way, come with their Refuge patches, but you can obviously slap on whatever patches you want in addition to that. Top compartment, it's kind of small. This is where I stashed the shears, just because again, I didn't want it on the outside. You have a mesh window in here with some items, and then you have loops. It kind of looks like a 12 gauge like shell organization loop situation, but you have a bunch of gloves stashed in here, as well as tape and stuff. So then this zips shut. You have two compression straps, one on either side, that we're gonna flip open, and then we're gonna crank this guy open here. Let's spin this around actually. And this comes all the way down flat, and I'm gonna spin this like so. All right, and the cool thing is everything is super well organized, right? So you have this guy, which you can grab quick, which is basically the innard, the inside of, you know, a bare min or a bare FAK, whatever, where it flips open, and there's all your trauma stuff, right? Minus tourniquet, because your tourniquet is mounted on the outside of the pack. I'm gonna put this to the side, and then you have this little surgical kit, and then you have these 4 units that are see-through for those who can see. But you could basically use this to like figure out like what your need is, and these are all technically, these Velcro in, so you can pull. I'm not gonna do it because I get really OCD about spacing, and it took a while for me to like center it exactly the way I like it. But you can basically tear out each one of these little units so you can grab and go if you need to. Splint down the middle, little bottle. On the lid here, we have this mesh elastic organization here with a bunch of cold compresses and whatnot. And in the top here, zippers open, and there's all your gauze packs. You have trauma packs, gauze packs, different things like that. And so this is just, again, a super well organized, because that's really the big thing, right? If something trauma related happens, obviously you want the gear on you, but you also want to be able to access it quickly. And the way to do that is to have everything very well organized so that you know where everything is, so you don't have to go like flailing through things and rummaging when you know you need something. It's like, oh, where's my, you know, trauma kit where I have all my compressed gauze? And anything it is that you need, you know exactly where it is without even having to rummage or sift through things. So again, especially if it's dark out or whatever, it's just good to have things well organized. And this kit actually does a pretty good job of organizing all of that. Another thing I'll say is a lot of their bags, their adventure kit and this one, they leave some room, right? It's not like packed, like stuffed, so that if you need to, you can put whatever, some extras in there if you have like mission specific things. Like for me, a lot of the stuff that I deal with is dehydration. And so in all these kits, I load it with electrolyte powders, right? Like drink mixes, just because that's just the situation that is relevant. But it might not be relevant to you. So that's why it doesn't come with it. All right, so there's the overview of a bunch of different Refuge items and products. This is the recommendation time, right? Like what do I think you should get? Obviously, you should get the kit that you are more likely to have on you, right? Now, the few that I would point out. Field Medic, probably not your first kit. Adventure is an awesome kit, but you can't, it's not an everyday carry, right? So maybe the Adventure is a good second kit, probably not the first kit. In terms of, bleeding prevention, all that, I would say it's between these three, okay? It's between the flagship FAK, which has all of the, the super crazy, I need a tourniquet, leg got blown off situation. Either that, it has that. It also has the, I scraped my knee, I need to wrap it with a little gauze pad thing, right? So the FAK, it has it all, but it's big. And so I would either say, get the FAK, carry the FAK, or get a slit kit, which again, right, it's all the trauma stuff minus the tourniquet. Get this plus a tourniquet, and that way you can carry that, or get an ankle kit. The ankle kit is basically, it has most of what's in the slit kit, but it also lets you carry a tourniquet, and it's on your ankle, right? So it's with you at all times, assuming you put it on in the morning. So that's kind of the basic stuff. Me personally, again, slit kit plus tourniquet, that's the way I like to go. If not that, then the ankle kit. Once you have sort of that, the EDC, everyday carry situation sorted out, then I would say get the adventure kit, because then the adventure, it expands your capabilities so much. It's a bag, you have it in your car, your truck, you carry it with you, have it, in the office. This sort of augments your EDC, which, could be the FAK, it could be slit kit plus tourniquet, or the ankle kit. That's my suggestion. The other one I really like, as you can see on the side of my mystery wrench bag, is the SOB. I like the SOB just because how small and compact it is. You can slap this on the side of any pack. You can technically get just the interior of the SOB and carry that in your cargo pocket or some sort of pocket. That is also doable. But basically, yeah, my suggestion is have a small option, right? So one that you can have on you at all times, and then have your bigger, more in-depth option, which for, I would say most people, myself included, would be the adventure kit. So yeah, this is a super good overview of Refuge Medical. Great company, out of Oklahoma, super nice people, very very genuine people, actual people that you can pick up the phone or email and talk to. Just a great company, and hope you guys enjoyed it.